How to take over the world, Elon Musk style, a 10-step plan. No kill, only kindness. I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla weekend. Oh, how is everybody? Got my cup of coffee here, my favorite mug. Like my coffee like I like my ladies. Colombian. It's terrible. How is everybody? Okay, let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Let's get started. Step 1 to taking over the world: better manufacturing, better cars, 20 million of them, and power storage. Yeah, all those things. Big steps. See, with better manufacturing comes lower costs. When the Model 3 came out, it was a game changer. Everybody tried to give a benchmark on the Model 3. Say this is how it's got to be done. But Tesla's a moving target, and they already moved on to the Model Y with the front and rear mega castings, eliminating hundreds of parts, hundreds of processes and procedures, hundreds of robots. Don't worry, we'll get those robots' jobs back. And now they're already on to the unboxing, the unboxed production method, which will promise a 50% reduction in costs and pave the way to a new generation of vehicles. Yeah, you can't get to 20 million unless you're doing something different. You see, GM got to 10, 11 million. Toyota, 10, 11 million. That's big. Those are big numbers. But they couldn't grow past it because their procedures were archaic, terrible. And you got to build better vehicles. Rethinking it from the ground up. You got to start all over again. What is a car? How should it be made? If you were starting from scratch, what would you do? You'd do it different. You'd find ways to trim weight, to trim cost, to extend range and efficiency. You got to build them better, and you got to build a lot of them. 20 million cars by 2030. This analyst thinks it can be done, but boy, is it going to be tough. It's going to be real tricky. How are you going to do it? And the answer is all these new factories, all these new ways. 20 million cars a year. That means by 2030, we could be looking at 40, 50 million Teslas on the road. That's a big chunk of the market. And then, of course, energy. Tesla confirms Lathrop Megafactory can produce 10,000 megapacks per year. And this is just one factory. It's just one. There could be 2, 3 of these. Why not 4? And the answer to that is you probably don't need 4. You'd probably have too many megapacks by that point. 10,000. You know, a peaker plant only needs 20 to 100 of these. Now, some are bigger, some make 200. But at 100, that's 1,000 megapacks, 100 peaker plants per year that you'd be taking offline. 100 a year. Now, there's thousands in the U.S. alone, thousands more abroad. But this is a big deal, and it's only counting megapacks. There's also power walls. Those are being made at a rate of about 1,000 a day right now. Those are going out. Those are going to balance the grid. Those will be run with Tesla's auto bidder software to optimize when to take power, when to give it back, and at what rates. It's going to be huge. And they're going to get a little taste of the action every time, as well they should. It's their AI that's running it. And then you've got the idea of vehicle to grid. What if those 20 million vehicles were also giving back just a little bit of juice, just a kilowatt hour here and there, an amount you wouldn't even hardly notice gone? That's going to make them the largest utility, perhaps in world history. So, step 2, SpaceX, Starlink, Starship. Why is that important? Elon says SpaceX plans to deliver 80% of Earth's payload to orbit this year. That's kind of a big deal. And it's not that they've done it by destroying the competition. They've done it by outcompeting them. They're cheaper. They're more reliable. They're always available because they don't have to build new ones every darn time. And by 2026, it could be 99.99% of payload to orbit. That's insane. And it's not like ULA doesn't have their own big rocket. They do. They've only got a handful of them because they're using recycled parts, leftovers, if you will, remnants, scraps. China's got big plans, but they keep changing them. Every time SpaceX changes, China's plans change. They're following the leader. And they will get there, but they'll always be playing catch-up. Yes, Jeff, reuse. How novel. It's crazy. And if you want to see what it looks like, this is just Slick 40 and 39 in Florida. This is an animation showing just how often they launch. You can see the dates at the bottom here. This is Hayes Gray Art put this amazing sub 1 minute animation together. This is the pace of rocket launches from SpaceX. That's huge. And we're about to get, oh, that was a bad day. And then in the background here, we're going to see the other pad right over here. Look at it go. That's crazy. They're launching constantly because they can, because they're cheaper, because they're better, because they provide quality service at an amazing price. And we haven't even started to talk about Starship yet. Look at that. Look at that. David Huber says he'll be right back. His groundhog needs food. I don't know what that means. So then you've got Starlink. This is the map right now, this minute, of all Starlink satellites in the world. These trains represent ones that were recently launched and have not yet reached their final orbital height, their final altitude. There's like 3,000 plus of these. That's over half the satellites in the world are the property of SpaceX. And Elon owns about half of SpaceX. So over half the world's satellites are about half owned by one guy. That is a path to domination. There are already over 1 million subscribers worldwide in only 50 countries. More countries will come online. More subscribers in those countries will come online. And even in places where where it's tapped out, where the area is full, more satellites are being launched constantly to increase capacity. We could see, and even those 1 million subscribers, we're talking 100 million a month in revenue. Double it, triple it, go 10x, $1 billion a month. If they 10x their subscriber count, which they will, that's $1 billion a month in revenue. Kind of a big deal. And then there's Starship, the 400-foot tall mega monster that is about to fly. It will be the biggest rocket ever flown, and it will be breathtaking. And if it works, it's going to make it so that you could launch an entire space station the size of the International Space Station in 4 launches, 4 to 5 launches. And because it's reusable, you could do it in a month. Technically, you could do it in a few days, but you could do it in a month, easily. And at a cost that is a fraction of what we paid before. The space shuttle costs $450 million per launch. Per launch! You could do the entire space station now for less than that, including the modules and the launch. It's very strange and wonderful, and a path to world domination. You could have not just an orbiting hotel, but a chain of them. Step 3, boring, boring, boring. So boring. There's a lot of projects underway and under discussion. We know the Vegas loop is expanding to go all the way from the convention center to the airport, with a lot of stops along the way. But there's other ones. San Jose, Miami, San Bernardino County, Fort Lauderdale, and of course, South Padre Island to Boca Chica, out by Starbase itself. And we know there's talks about other ones that are stalled. Baltimore, Chicago, Los Angeles, Australia, and of course in Texas, where they plan to connect the airport to downtown. And you know what? Let's include Giga Texas in that. It's not that far away. And they can do that because the cost is cheaper. Typical tunnel costs $2 billion a mile in some places. But everywhere you look, it's more. Subways and light rail cost far more, $2.6 billion in New York. But any case, in Europe, it's only a mere $100 million to $1 billion per mile, with most of them in the $200 million to $500 million range. Boring tunnel is $10 to $15 million a mile. 10 to 15 million a mile. So for the cost of 1 mile of tunnel, you get an entire system. If you don't think that's going to dominate, you're mistaken. The only reason it's going as slow as it is it hasn't been fully demonstrated in ways a lot of cities are comfortable with. And as AI comes online, as Dojo comes online, as FSD is completely solved, these tunnels will become the best seller. They'll become a hot commodity. They will be under every city. Step 4, Neuralink for added mobility, for human to digital interface, and Dojo take the wheel. Yeah. Neuralink upgraded brain chip hopes to help the blind see and the paralyzed walk. Why not? If you can restore people's mobility, that's great. If you can restore their sight, that's great. But Neuralink can do a lot of things, theoretically. Not just allow for vision, but if you can't restore mobility, telepathy. Use it to let you text message, to search the web, to interface with a computer. And this isn't a theory. This has been demonstrated in primates. I'm a primate. Hasn't been demonstrated in me, but I'm also not a monkey. Unlock hidden creativity. Nostalgia on demand. It can record the signals. In theory, maybe it could feed them back. Maybe it could not just read your mind, but write your mind. Eliminate pain. And other things. Maybe it could help with mental illness. A little too early to tell. But it could happen. And then Dojo. Oh, Dojo. Dojo take the wheel. Dojo's important. But it's not fully realized. It's not even partially realized, really. Tesla already has a lot of AI running, and I'm sure SpaceX does as well. We know all these companies do. AutoBidder is already determining the rates at which to buy and sell power for Powerwalls, and I assume Megapacks. Your FSD is not just planning what route to take you to avoid traffic, but also which lane to be in, when to turn, when to swerve, when to stop, when to go. It's doing all that stuff already, but Dojo will take a bigger role. As more cars are on the road, it can get more active in traffic management. It can get more active in power management. It can manage data traffic in Starlink. Oh, an area is congested or a ground station is down, reroute it. No one even notices. It just happens. And Dojo could do all of that and so much more. But there's a limit to how far you can go before nations and competitors start stepping up and saying, wait a minute, we need to put some guardrails up. We need to slow things down. We need to find out, we need to put some reins on this horse. Whoa, Nelly, if you will. And I suspect you might. So we got to move offshore. Now, you can't just take Starbase and move it. You can't just relocate, SpaceX to another country. The minute you would start packing up, they would notice and they would say no. So here we are in Texas. This is Texas and this is Mexico. The Rio Grande is the border, which is the official border. The river runs along the international boundary. So if you want to move, I lost it. It's funny. If you want to move Starbase to Mexico, what you do is you dig this 386-foot tunnel here, with a boring tunnel, in a clandestine fashion, and then you just blast it. Just blast it. Oh, I guess I drew the line to a road instead of... What did I do? How did I goof that? Oh, I see. Yeah, no, that's a waterway. That's a road. I guess I have to redo that. Well, at any rate, let's find a better spot then. Let's go down here where it's nice and close. This is a good spot. Go from here, here, to here. Well, at any rate, that's, man, you got to remove those. Go from here to here. Measure to here. 2 miles. 2 miles. We can do that. We can handle it. Make it 2 miles, and boom, you've redirected the Rio Grande. Abracadabra, my friend, you are in Mexico. Bienvenidos en Mexico, my friends. 2 miles. That's easy. That's a $25 million tunnel. Who's going to notice? You don't even have to reinforce it all the way and put in all the safety measures because you're just going to blast it anyhow. Good thing I caught that before this show went out, or I would look quite the fool. So move it to Mexico. No problem. And I know what you're saying. Well, that's great for SpaceX, but what about for Tesla? You can't move Tesla. Tesla's not on the border. Well, no, but it's along a fault line. I mean, I'm not saying Boring Company should absolutely put a tunnel along the entire fault line and rig it with explosives. I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying they would do that. And I know Fremont is on the wrong side of it, but it's California, my friend. There's fault lines everywhere. It's a buyer's market. You can pick any one. You can do all of them. Load them up. And I'm not saying they should do that, and I'm not saying they will do that. They definitely won't. They won't. But they could. And I'm not saying it would work. Probably wouldn't. Do you want to find out? I don't think so. I don't think so. So just back off is what I'm saying. And they would because, you know, because of the implication. Step 6, quieting international concerns. You know, when this happens, when you move national boundaries, when you relocate entire areas from one country to another, you might have some voices getting a little concerned about your behavior. So what you got to do is engage in some panda bear diplomacy. China likes to loan out pandas to international zoos so they can be friends, so that they know we're friends. You've got our panda, and we own your ports. Little things, you know. You can show off this adorable, beautiful, incredibly dumb creature, and we have all the factories that you have shuttered. It's a good deal for everybody. So what they would do, what Elon would definitely do, is give them something as a show of peace, as a peace offering. Give them monuments. Donate monuments. Put one in front of every international parliament around the world, every Congress, every head of state's home. And don't even tell them you're doing it. Just land one in front of their buildings. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. They'll say, you know what? This is a good guy. He's all about peace and friendship. He just landed a big rocket in front of my house. Just parked it there with a sign saying, stay back 500 feet. Nothing's going to happen. It's not like a warhead or anything. It's not like it's full of explosive materials like rocket fuel. No, it's a kind gesture. It's a show of peace, of friendship, of cooperation. What better symbol to say we're in a new age than a rocket? It's beautiful. And if they don't like it, and they agree to play nice, you can just fly it away. Fly it back home. You know, if you don't like it, but they'll like it. They'll love it. Who wouldn't? It's a good deal. So we've got step 7, and what? I'm doing a live show. Okay, sorry. Step 7, happy comms, happy grid. Happy comms and happy grid. Happy communications. We just said that there could be 10 million, 100 million Starlink subscribers around the world. Those satellites are already carrying backbone data for other providers. This is a good deal. As long as the communication stays good, we're good. As long as the grid stays happy, we're happy. And why wouldn't it? Starlink could fail. If Starlink goes down or starts doing funky things to your traffic, starts selectively deciding what you get to see and say and do, that would cause chaos. They could crash entire markets by just intermittently adjusting trades. They would never do that. They would never do that. But they could. And no one would be concerned. No one should be, because all you have to do is just play nice and everything stays good. Everything stays good. And the same with the grid. It doesn't take much for a grid to go down, you see. And if Tesla controls even 5% of what used to be peaker plants, things could get ugly. And in some countries, smaller countries, poorer countries, where they don't have the diversity of choices, where they just go with the lowest bidder, even if it creates overexposure, well, things could go badly if the grid goes down. And I'm not saying it would. I'm not saying that. It wouldn't. Why would it? But that could be. If a nefarious person were to be in charge, which wouldn't be the case, a real potential for world domination. So that would be something to keep in mind. And then, of course, step 8, ending traffic, saving lives, and safe cities. So you can end traffic. FSD and Dojo working together can end traffic. You ever seen a traffic jam that forms out of nowhere for no reason? You get to the front, there's nothing there. It only takes 1 or 2 cars slowing down to cause chaos for hours. You do that with 3 or 4 cars, you could stop entire highways in both directions. But if you've got 5%, 10, 20% of the cars on the road, well, that could cause chaos if it doesn't go right. But it would go right. Don't worry. It's not like Elon's going to make your cities crawl to a stop if you don't give him $8. That's not what would happen. Of course it wouldn't. That's crazy. And for that matter, it's got some trolley problems. I've got some trolley problems. FSD, through the power of Dojo, which at this point we'll just call it Skynet, which is a good name, I think, could easily save lives. It could make tough decisions correctly, not incorrectly. It definitely wouldn't veer into oncoming traffic and kill millions in a day if things don't go the way they should. No, things will go the way they should. It's not even something we need to think about. It's not even something we need to think about. Unnamed Man says, new jokes, you are the best. New jokes? It's a brand new show. I don't know what you're talking about. So the trolley problem would be not an issue. Definitely not an issue. And so then you've got the tunnels. Oh yeah, that's right. The tunnels are under every city. You know, after 9/11, those were considered a soft target. Trap people in a tunnel, cause chaos. Maybe blast a tunnel. Oh no, that would be terrible. But fortunately, Tesla and SpaceX and X.com would be able to ensure that safety, that doesn't happen. You wouldn't have to put goofy little police in goofy little cars on the side saying, whoa, Nelly. No, you can hold your own horses, because rest assured, these tunnels are not rigged to blow. Why would they be? No one would want to do that. No one would do that. That's crazy talk. Why? So you wouldn't worry about it, because there's nothing to worry about. Step 9, no more armies and rapid response to disasters. You see, bots can't battle humans. They can't. They're not powerful enough, they're not fast enough, they're not quick enough. You'd have to be outnumbered 2 to 1, 3 to 1. And they definitely wouldn't build enough to conquer entire countries. So bloodshed would end, because these guys could be rapid response for disasters. You've got a natural disaster, something going on. Starship drops off 10,000 of them 20 minutes later, and it would go great. It would look so good. You would get great situations like this. Okay, well, this might be a bad example, but it would certainly, oh, well, that's maybe not the best example, but you could have 10,000 of them show up. You could have shipping containers of them placed strategically around the world. It'd be a good thing. And yeah, step 10, like-minded leaders ends bloodshed. They know they don't want wars. They've got a rapid response team. They know they don't want to mess with the communications or the grid. It's all great. But the real reason they're like-minded is because they've all got Neuralink. And it's not just that they've been reading their thoughts and can blackmail them all into oblivion, which they could. They wouldn't, but they could. No, it's because they can just tell them what to think and make them think it was their own idea. And of course, at that thing, once you've got all that sorted, then all you need to do is give Elon $8 and you're done. You're done. That's it. So that's his strategy. That's his strategy. Jeff, the numbers come out tomorrow. I will be live streaming with Tim from Oracle Investments at 8:30 a.m. Pacific, hoping for them to come out around 9. So that should be good. All right, well, we got through it. What did I miss? What did I misunderstand? Leave it all in them comments. Let me see if there's any comments here. Jamie says, I've watched 3 now, Herbert, and they are not recorded, just the same script. I don't know what that means. I'm thinking with Brian's brilliant but a bit crazy brain. It's got something to do with April Fools. I don't know what that means. The bots can subdue lots of humans. End of quarter is always a good time. Yeah. If every car... Herbert says, I've been on both live shows. That's weird. I don't know what that means. So yeah. There we go. Step 6. Quieting international concerns. Give them all Neuralink. Gary, you got ahead of us. You got ahead of me. Oh, you must be able to predict the future. All right. Okay. Well, I'm glad you guys had a chance to hang out. We should do this again sometime. So what did I miss? What did I misunderstand? Leave it all in them comments below and stay tuned. Stay juicy. And I can't wait to hear from you clever robots. Eventually. I don't know when. It's tough to say. Could be anytime.